Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's our topic is fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Right to equality, including equality before law. Prohibition of discrimination on grounds of region, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Equality of opportunity in matters of employment. Right to freedom of free speech and expressions, assembly, association, or union, movement, residence, and right to practice any profession or occupation. Some of these rights and are subject to security of the state, friendly relations with foreign countries, public order, decency or morality, right against exploitation, prohibiting all forms of forced labor, with child labor and traffic in human beings. Right to freedom of conscience and freedom profession, profession, practice, and proper propagation of religion. Right of any section of a citizen to conserve their culture, language, or script, and right of minorities to establish an administrator educational institutions of their choice, and right to constitutional remedies for enforcement of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Fundamental rights in India is ensured a part of Article 12 to 35 of Constitution of India. Guarantee a civil liberties such that all Indians can lead their lives in a peaceful and harmony of citizens of India. These rights are also fundamental as they are the most essential for all-round development, material, intellectual, moral, and spiritual, and protected by fundamental law of the land. Constitution. If the rights are provided by the Constitution, especially the fundamental rights are violated by the Supreme Court, High courts can issue rights and under Articles 32 and 226 of the Constitution, respectively, directing the State Ministry for enforcement of the fundamental rights. Article 22. Article 22 grants protection to persons who are arrested or detained. Detention is two types, namely punitive and preventive. Punitive detention is to punish a person for an offence committed by them after trial and conviction in a court. Preventive detention, on the other hand, means detention of a person without a trial and conviction by a court. Its purpose is to punish a person for a past offence, but to prevent them for committing a offence in the near future. Thus, preventive detention is only a precautionary measure and based on suspension. Article 22 has two parts. First part deals with the cases of ordinary law, and second part deals with cases of the preventive detention law. The first part of the article confers the parts of rights on a person who are arrested or detained under an ordinary law. The right to be informed of the grounds to arrest them. Right to consult and be defended by a legal par- practitioner. Right to be produced before a magistrate within 24 hours, including the journey time. Right to be released after 24 hours unless the magistrate authorities after further detention. Article 23. Article 23 prohibits the traffic in human beings, beggar, forced labor, and other similarities. Other similarity forms forms Other similarities forms of forced labor. Any contravention of provision shall be an offence and punishable in the accordance within the law. This right is available to both citizen and non-citizens. This protects individual not only against the state but also against the private persons. This expression in traffic in human beings include selling and buying of men, human, and children like goods. Immoral traffic in human and children, including preposition in Devadas slavery, is to punish these acts. The Parliament has made the immoral traffic according to the Act of 32 1956. The term beggar means the compulsory work without the remuneration. So it was an Indian system under which the local zemindaris come sometimes used to force their tenants to services without with the payment. In addition to the beggar, Article 23 prohibits other similarities forms of forced labor like bonded labor. The term forced labor means compelling a person to work against this well. The force includes not only a physical or a labeled force but also force arising from the compulsion of economic circumstances that this is working less than the minimum age of a labor system. Article 24. Article 24 prohibits the employment of children below the age of 14 years in a factory, mine, or other hazardous activities like construction work or rivalry, but it does not prohibit their employment in any harmless or innocent work. The Child Labor Act 1986. It is the most important law in this direction. In addition, the Employment of Children Act 1938, the Factories 1948, the Mines Act, the Merchant Shipping Act 1958, the Plantation Labor Act 1951, and the Transportation of Workers 1951, and the Apprentice Act 1961, and the BD and Cigar Workers Act 1966, and other similarities acts prohibit the employment of children below certain age. In 1996, the Supreme Court directed the establishment of child labor rehabilitation welfare found in welfare found in which offering employer should deposit a fine 20,000 for a child employed by them. Issued the directions improvement of education, health and nutrition of a children, and commissions of protections of a children act 2025 was enacted to provide establishment and courts. Okay. 25. Article 25 says that all persons are equally entitled to freedom of conscience and right to be freely provisions and practice propagate religion. This impacts this are freedom of conscience, inner freedom of a region of an individual to mold his region's relation with God, whatever way he decides. Right to profess, right to practice, right to propagate, declarations of one religion, beliefs, and faith openly freely. Performance of religious workshop rituals, ceremonies, and exhibition of beliefs and ideas, transmission and dissemination of one's religious beliefs to others, or explanation of tenets of one's religion. But this not only include them, this not only include a right to convert another person, but also own region, forcible considerations and impact implement on the freedom coincides guaranteed to the person like it is clear 25 Act covers the religious belief, but also religious regulate the restrict of economic, financial, political, and other security associated with the religious practice, provide for a social welfare and reform or through open Hindu religious instructions, institution of a public character to all classes and sections of Hinduism. Article 25 also concerns two explanations. One, wearing and caring of is to be included in the profession of Sikh in the region. Two, the Hindus in the context include Sikhs and Jains and Buddhists. Article 26. According to the Article 26, every religious domination or any other section shall have the following rights: right to establish the maintain institution for religious and charitable purposes, right to manage its own affairs in matters of religion, right to own and acquire movable and immovable property, right to administrator such property in accordance with law. Right. Article 25 guarantee right of individuals, while Article 26 guarantee right of religious denominations or other sections. In other words, Article 23 protects collective freedom, collective freedom, collective freedom of religion, like rights under the Article 25. Supreme Court held that a religious domination must satisfy following condition. It should be a collection of individuals who have the system of beliefs that they are regarded conductive to the spiritual well-being. It should be a common organization. It should be a distinct designed by a distinctive name under the above criteria. The Supreme Court held Ramakrishna Mission and Ananda Marga are religious denominations within the Hindu region. It also held that Aurobindo Society is not a religious denomination. Article 27. Article 27 lays down that no person shall be compelled to pay any taxes for the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious denomination. In other words, the state should not spend the public money collected by way of tax for the promotion or maintenance of any religious particular. This prohibition prohibits the state for favoring, patronizing, and supporting one religion over the other. Taxes, the provision provides exact navy. Okay. Article 28. Under the Article 28, the religious education should convey institutions of only maintain the state institution administered by the state but established any empowerment or trust institution organized by the state. Article 29. Article 29 implies that the sections that citizens citizens residing in any part of India, distinct language. Article 25 both religious minorities and stimulus minorities, etc. According to the Act of Supreme Court, reservation of a language section of citizen does not amount corrupt practices representation of the Act People Act 1951. Article 30. Article 30 grants the following minorities whether the religious or linguistic. All minorities shall have the right to establish the administrator educational institutions of their choice. The compensation amount fixed by the state for a compulsory acquisition of a property. The minority education institution shall not restrict or abort the right guaranteed to them. The provision. Okay. In guaranteeing the aid of discriminations, the right under the Act of 13, it includes the right of minority to impact education to the children in its own language. Article 21. The regulations made by the state concerning generally the welfare of the students, teachers, regulations laying down eligibility criteria and qualifications for appointment as also conditions of the service employees regulations to prevent exploitations or accretion of employees and regulations prescribing syllabus circulum of the study fall under the category. Such regulations do not in any manner interfere with the right under the Article of 30. Subject to the eligibility conditions, qualifications prescribed by the state being met. The unaligned minority educational institution will lay the freedom to appoint teachers, lecturers by adopting any rational procedure of selection. Extension of aid by the state do not alter the nature and the character of the minority educational institution. The conditions can be imposed by the state to ensure that proper utilization of aid without, however, the deteriorating under the Act of 31. Article 32 configures that the Article 32 Article 32 configures that the right to remedies enforcement citizens. The Supreme Court ruled that Article 32 a basic feature of a constitution, hence it is not taken away even by the amendment unto the constitution. It concerns that the following four provisions: right to move Supreme Court by the appropriate proceeding for enforcement of a fundamental right is guaranteed. Rights is guaranteed. The Supreme Court shall have power to issue directions or order or it rights for the enforcement of any fundamental rights. The rights issued may include habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, criteria, quaranto. Thank you.